Chances are if you don't have additional categories on your Google Business Profile, you're probably not ranking as well. And in this video, we're going to teach you how you can actually choose the additional categories for your Google Business Profile. So most businesses only choose one GBP category as their primary one. However, Google actually allows you to have up to 10. So here's how to choose the right ones without triggering suspension. So step number one, you need to understand how the GBP categories work. So your primary category is the most important ranking signal. So for example, that is the main keyword that Google ranks you in the map pack. So you need to choose the category that matches your highest revenue service. And you can only have one primary, so you need to choose it carefully. There's been times where we have general contractors on our platform and they necessarily do everything across the board. So they might do roofing, HVAC, plumbing, all that stuff. However, I always ask a client, what is your highest revenue generating service? And if it is roofing, we're going to put roofing. If it's kitchen remodeling, we're going to put kitchen remodeling. And that will get you to specialize in a certain category. However, we'll also take a look at competition. If there are only 3 bathroom remodelers in your city, you're probably going to outrank all of them. Versus if there are 1,000 general contractors, it might be better to actually put bathroom remodeling or kitchen remodeling. Next, secondary categories expand your ranking service area. So they allow up to 10 total categories, 1 primary, 9 secondary, and each secondary category gives you a chance to rank for additional search. So plumber might add drainage service, gas installation service, water heater installation, and adding 4 to 5 secondary categories can double the keywords your Google Business Profile actually ranks for. Step 2 is finding the right category for your trade. So use your competitor GBP to reverse engineer winning categories. So search your main keyword in Google Maps, open a top ranking competitor, scroll down to category section on their profile, and note every single category that they use. These are proven to work in your market and you can catch up to them. Next, you need to use Google's own category list. So Google has thousands of official categories, so you need to use exact matches. So search up plumber categories GBP 2025 or 2026 to find updated category lists. And then use a ChatGPT prompt, list all the Google Business Profile categories relevant to plumber in XYZ city. And then you need to match categories to services you actually provide. So never add a category for a service you do not provide. Google can suspend a listing for misrepresentation, and each category you add should have a matching service page on your website. Even within our platform here, we could see that this company specific is a roofing contractor. However, we've also added waterproofing service and then roofing supply store as well. For all the services, you could have a primary category assigned to it or additional category assigned to it. So let me get into that as well. So now you can see inside our platform, we have a bunch of Google listed services. So these are categories and services that Google actually lists. We also have custom listed services. So for all the services, and if you want to white label us in your agency or your local business, go ahead and click a link in the description. For agencies or local businesses, we automate all of your Google Business Profile with AI. So with this, you could see that the primary category assigned is roofing contractor. We have 4 services that are Google listed here, and then we could go over to custom listed services as well. So here we're basically pulling all of your competitors' services as well. So if you take a look at the 5-star here, you could see that this was suggested for your competitors' listings. What are their competitors constantly monitoring in their reviews? And we're going to list it here. And then from your website, we train all of your profile based on your website. So this is parsed directly from your website. And as you can see here, we have a bunch over here. We probably have like 40 or 50 different services. I can just keep scrolling down. And for every single category, you can only have 100 services. So as you can see here, we have roofing contractor. And we always add a description. You need to add a description for all the services you add. And most local businesses actually miss this step and it affects their rankings a lot. So step number 3, you add categories without triggering suspension. So do not change your primary category on established GBP too often, right? This is a very caveat. Sometimes if you change it too often, you might have to re-verify, and sometimes it's painful to re-verify. So changing the primary category resets some of the ranking signals. Only change a primary if the current one is wrong. And then add additional categories first. It's safer, but still impactful. So add secondary categories 1 or 2 at a time. Sudden bulk changes to established profile can trigger reviews. Space out the additions over 1 to 2 weeks if the profile's older. And then new profiles can have all categories added at once during setup. This is a caveat. Most of the time, Google's not going to trigger a review on your profile, especially if it's verified. So this is just a caveat here. Next, make sure your website supports every category you add. So Google's going to validate categories against your website content and actually see if it aligns. So if you add heating contractor on your GBP, you need a heating contractor page on your website. Mismatched categories without website support equals a ranking gap and not a ranking boost. Next, step number 4, if you really want to supercharge things, you need to build out the website pages to support each category. So create a dedicated landing page per secondary category. For example, your URL structure should be category-city. So drainage service-Dallas. And then the page title should be category and city business name. Include 400 to 600 words with local context and neighborhood mentions. You can't just replace the city name and the service name, Google's going to flag it, not index the page. So you need to have local context and neighborhood mentions in that. Next, you link the category pages from the homepage. Each GBP category should appear as a H2 section on the homepage. You link it from the homepage section to a dedicated category page. And this internal link structure reinforces the category signal to Google. Next, step number 5 is track which categories are driving calls. So use GBP Insights to see which searches trigger your listing. So GBP dashboard shows the queries people use to find your profile. If a secondary category is generating more searches, add more services under that. And if a category is not generating any impressions, it may not be a fit for your market. Next, use the local rank tracker to actually monitor category specific rankings. So tools like Lead Oracle, the tool that I own, lets you track rankings per category and for the keyword. So check your top 3 secondary categories monthly and double down categories where you're ranking 4 to 7, small push to top 3. So most businesses are leaving 4 to 9 additional ranking opportunities unused by ignoring secondary categories. And let me show you what the ranker page looks like. So this is what the ranker page actually looks like. So for roofer near me in this city, you can see that we're number 1. And then as we start expanding outwards, we're a little bit less. So on a monthly basis, I'll take a look at this. However, this is not a set science. We need to see if there are more impressions, more clicks, and more calls. That's the most beneficial way to actually see where you're ranked. However, this is also a secondary signal. The first thing I'll focus on, how many calls are we getting? Are we making more money, right? So you need to track this on a daily basis. If you want your local business or agency, you could go ahead and white label us. And if you're a local business, I'll just do this directly with you. So that's pretty much it in terms of how to pick a secondary category or additional categories. If you like this video, go ahead and like and subscribe. Check out some of the links in the description for agencies and local businesses, and I'll catch you in the next video.